Sai Ram. As we hear that this is the last day of the retreat, that already feels a little bit emotional. We didn't want it to end the way we were going at this retreat in the last few days. It didn't feel like a few days. It felt like we have been here for a very long time waiting for this moment, listening to all the stalwarts here on the stage the last many days. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending your valuable time with us. We realize you could have been anywhere in the world on this particular day. Many retreats were happening. I'm sure you were called in many directions, but thank you for choosing Region 3, the best region in all of the United States. And they all agree. Today we have a task on hand. We have a panel discussion, as you can see, and the topic is so apt for especially a last day like this because it's a reflective topic, meaning it's a topic for all of us to reflect upon, for us to think through. So the topic is the role of each one of us as Sai devotee in the golden age. So let that sit in as we continue with the proceedings today. What is each one of our role in the golden age as prescribed by Swami? And the way we will go about it is I will ask each one of you to state a few opening remarks, and then we have a few questions planned for you on the topic. But I'll kick it off with a conversation I've had some time back with a fellow Sai devotee where we were wondering what is the greatest miracle, what is the biggest wonder that has ever happened in the human race ever since we started understanding Earth and everything around us. And then we figured out that probably the biggest miracle that ever happened, the things that are out of ordinary that wouldn't happen on any other day, is man going to space. Because that is not what it was meant to be. We were all meant to live on a planet that we have been given. But then we've gone over and beyond and said, no, we will not limit ourselves here. We will try and see what space looks like. But then we thought that is not all. There should be more to it. It can't be just man going to space, and that's the biggest wonder. And then we probably went to the next level thinking it can't be just that. It probably is that God coming to Earth. How beautiful is that thought when you think of it? I mean, man could go anywhere. We have been given the brain to think through things and then advance in our progress as we make as human race. But then God coming on Earth seems to be the biggest wonder that has ever happened. And then we began to reflect that God walking on Earth isn't happening for the first time. We have heard over the last few days, and we've all known that God has walked on Earth in the past. So that can't be the only wonder. It must be more. As we were really going about it, then we thought, yes, to be contemporaries of God is the biggest deal here. That can't happen to everyone. I mean, the generation that is coming now can't be as proud as we were calling ourselves the contemporaries of God, and it didn't happen many times before as well. So many generations have left without being able to call themselves the contemporaries of God. But then that can't be all as well, because there were contemporaries of God in the past who we didn't think were all realized souls. There were many, many generations that have come, that have seen Rama, that have seen Krishna, that have seen Jesus, literally being the contemporaries, but that is not all. And then we thought the biggest miracle in the world today, as designed by our dear Swami, is not just be contemporaries of God, but to be able to serve in his mission, to be able to call ourselves the devotee of Sai is the biggest miracle of this generation, of the human race in general, and that privilege is not given to many outside this room even. So let's all consider that the golden opportunity that heaven. Our Swami didn't stop there. Our Swami loves to make it easier and easier for us to practice. And Swami said, there is a golden age. But Swami didn't specifically tell us, is the golden age already here? Is the golden age something we have to script and go into? And to put that question to rest, we have the panel here today throwing light on that specific topic. as to where is golden age, which door we should open to walk into golden age at the end of this panel discussion is what we will learn. But before we get into a question answer session, could I request each one of you to have your opening remarks on the subject for approximately 9 minutes. And Geeta Aunty, if I could ask you to start, please.
Sairam to all of you, Sairam to all my brothers here on the stage. It is indeed my honor to be sharing the stage with Brother Naganand and Shitu and Brother Akshay and Brother Balu as well. Thank you for asking me to join this panel. I came to enjoy the retreat like all of you, but it's nice to see all of you from this angle as well. Thank you. The question I think is Girish asking me if the golden age is already here, is to start. You know, you all know now, you've heard me many times in this region. My family came a long time ago. My grandfather saw him in 1943. And in 1944 or 45, one of my aunts, who was a wonderful singer, they just had one darshan of Swami and they didn't have any more questions. I believe it was Swami's will at the age of 17 or 18 to have these very orthodox religious people from Bangalore believe in him, this young boy from Puttaparthi, and according to them, who did not have any knowledge of the Vedas or Upanishads or anything, because they came from orthodox families, but they accepted him. And one of the first songs that my aunt, who Swami used to call Patla Milo, they used to call them singer sisters. In those days, when they had hardly had 2 darshans or 3 darshans, because it was hard to go even from Bangalore to Parthi, one of the very early songs that she composed in Telugu was Inni Dinamula Nunchi. I'll have to sing it, please bear with me, because I can't remember the words if I don't. I'm not a good singer, but I'll remember the words that way. Inni dinamula nunchi ninnu gurtinchaleka andhakaramulo padina atmayela atmayela jivatmayela. They say in all these lifetimes we have lived in ignorance, and even at this moment, if we don't recognize you, what is the use of this jivatma which has come into this body? Parthi Sathya Sai Anuchu Prarthana Seya Kunna Prashanti Nilayuni Namamu Nalikela Nalikela Itarula Jolikela. Why do we have this tongue which does not recite the name of Parthi Sathya Sai? Shantulu Gunavantulaina Ashanti Galavaraina Prashanti Nilayamurani Padamela. What is the use of this feet which has not stepped into the sands of Prashanti Nilayam, into the land of Prashanti? What is the use? So, ye janmamulo chesina puja palamo, ee janmamulo sai karunagalge varamula padayagalge. So we don't know in what janma we have done what punya our elders, our ancestors have done, that in this janma we have come to you, we have seen you, we have set our foot on the sands of Prashanti Nilayam, we have uttered your name and we have seen you. So the golden age has begun for all of us on the day that we saw him, on the day that he decided to take birth for the sake of all of us, to make us want what he wants to give us. So that day itself, I feel the golden age has started. But there is one problem or a caveat to it, and that is we are all in the form of these little nuggets of gold. Maybe he saw in all of us the potential, and he has chosen us by entering into our lives. Now it is for us to convert ourselves into ornaments that are worthy of him. When we do that, the golden age for us, for our families, and the community in which we live will also start. But the day that he came into this earth, onto this bhumi, this earth, that day I feel the golden age has started. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Gita's poem made my mind travel. The fascinating thing about the mind is that you could be here and in an instant you could be back in your house in front of your washing machine, loading all the wash and switching it on. At the same moment, you could be in front of the Samadhi and enjoying the bliss of Swami's presence there. At the same moment, you could be seated at the lotus feet of Swami, touching his feet with his loving looks into your eyes, not saying a word, and you are not able to open your mouth to say anything to Swami. These are images which run through our mind, and it can happen in an instant. There's a beautiful book, and those of you who haven't read it, I sincerely recommend it to be read. It's called The Way of the Pilgrim. It's a book written by an unlettered Russian peasant, poor man, walking all over Russia, and his only activity was to remember the Lord, and he did that 24 hours a day. There was not a moment that he did not remember the Lord, and he describes his expressions. It's translated into English by a famous writer called R.M. French, and I'm sure that and other copies are available. For those of us who are seekers, I think that's a good starting point to try to understand as to how we can always be in contemplation of the Lord. There's a famous Purandarasa Kruti. I'm worse than Sister Geeta in singing. Added to that, I have the benefit of a cold. Taila dharayante manasu kodo hariye. Means, it's a prayer to God to say, give me a mind which is like when you pour oil, the different drops of oil. Can you see the drops? You will never be able to see the drops because they are fused. That means between one drop and the next drop, there is no time gap. There is no space. So, oh Lord, give me that mind which will be concentrated at your lotus feet, just like how it is when the drops of oil are dropping down and we don't see any break in between. That means continue to give me that ekagrata chitta. Ekagra chitta is one pointed attention. This is one. Another Purandarasa Kriti says, Kuntu paadidare nintu keluva, nintu paadidare naliva, nalidu paadidare oliva. That means, if you sit down and sing the name of the Lord, He is standing next to you and He is listening to you with rapt attention. If you stand and sing His name, He is literally dancing as you are singing His name. And if you are in that state of ecstasy and calling His name like Panduranga, Vittala and Gnanadeva, how they sang, then Voliva means He will become yours. You will become His. So this is what we need to bear in mind, that when we have to develop our devotion, the only way in which we can develop our devotion is to continue to pray to Him. Now this golden age, why don't we call it platinum age? Any age for that matter. It doesn't matter. That is the ultimate aim, is for us to develop our bhakti, our shraddha. And it is my experience. Sometimes, I'm sitting in the middle of a litigation right in court, and my mind is engrossed in my next case which I have to argue, and I'm looking at my notes, reading some legal decision I have to cite. I call my junior and say, you didn't include this in the compilation. Why did you not include it? Come on, give me that decision. I got to read it now before my turn comes. That's the state of mind I am in. Suddenly somebody comes and sits next to me. Sir, when did you go to Puttaparthi last? Which bhajan was sung that day? What was the occasion? How do we go to Puttaparthi? Can I come with you once? Will it be possible to have darshan? This was when Swami was physically there. And same thing continues even thereafter. That means our mind is in our work, our profession, everything. Suddenly God distracts it and then says, the minute this question is posed, you close all the books, God will take care of the case I'm going to argue next. Come on, let's talk about Swami. And all the stories, the experiences we have. I keep on talking. Suddenly the previous case is over and the judge is calling the next case. Next case. I'm sitting there, not getting up. Then he sees me. Ms. Naganand, your case is called. Do you want to argue it? So in other words, what I'm saying is this is the state of mind that we are always in when you start thinking of Swami, when you pay attention to Swami, when you make him close to you. And what is the, what shall I say, the ultimate aim? Whom should we follow? Go to Bhagavad Gita. Yadyadacharati shreshtaha tattat itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. Means, whom do we emulate? Those great people, how did they conduct themselves? Swami said, my life, my message, your life, my message. Bhagavad Gita says, more or less same thing. How did they conduct themselves? That is the standard, that's the gold standard. And what is it that all of us should do? Lokaha tat anuvartate. They all try to follow, try to emulate him. So I think the golden age is a time when all of us will realize in our personal lives that we are always with God, that God will be with us all the time. I mean, I don't have to explain this. Just a few minutes ago you saw the miracle that happened. No? Phone is in my pocket. I just come down. I was about to sit here. Then I said, I must do pranam. I went back and I bowed down and I heard bhajan. I said, am I imagining things? So I take out my phone and I see live bhajan from Prashant Nilayam is playing. And I switched it off once. It continued to play. Now, that means Swami wants to be with us. Do we want to be with Swami? I think that is the point of time when I sincerely think that this constant, Swami said, constant integrated awareness. We heard this expression so many times. Now have you reflected on what does it mean? It means at all times you must be aware that there is divinity around us. At no point of time should you feel that there is no divinity here. And if you are in that state of mind, then everything is done. I'll just narrate the program that is conducted by the Jagat Gurus of Adi Shankaracharya in different ashramas that are there, 4 of them in all over India. Their regimen is they wake up at 3 a.m., they go to the river for a bath, whatever be the weather. They start their anusthana before 4, and in every day they have to chant Om 1 lakh times. Every day. They have to read the Bhagavad Gita at least once every day. In addition to that, they have to do their Nitya Puja and Anusthana, the Ishtadevata Puja in the Matha. Then they have to have discourse for their students. There cannot be a guru who doesn't teach. Na? So there is a teaching session with his students. Supposing a guru has got a Shishya will sit with him. Let's discuss a topic. He will take discussion and lead him through it. So the teaching takes place. Now in all these activities of 24 hours, what is it that they are doing? They are only contemplating on God, no, nothing else. Supposing you go to them and say, I have some problem, my daughter's marriage is fixed, please bless it. Okay, blessing. Yeah, I have a son, I need to be named. Okay, you name him. So in other words, what are they doing? They are always in contemplation of God. I think the golden age will arise when all of Swami's devotees we'll all become aware that we all have to be always in mind, keep Swami in mind. I was just talking to a young lady just now, and I told her, when you hear and listen to so many things about Swami, she said, how do I implement it in my daily life, my professional life? I said, you don't have to do anything particular to implement it. If these thoughts are in your mind, in a particular situation you are faced in, the answer will come from this. So I think if you remember it, and if we apply it, and if we are constantly contemplating God, I think that is really the golden age, according to me. Thank you. Sairam.
Sairam, everyone. I'm reminded of Swami's words, the 4 Fs. Follow the master, face the devil, fight to the end, and finish the game. What do we mean by follow the master? It's so important for us to understand who Swami is, his teachings, follow his teachings, and follow him. How do we follow him? We follow him by loving him constantly, always. Face the devil. Now in 2024 we have no Ravanas, but the devil that we do have are the qualities that emerge from us. So we have to face that. We have to face the challenges head on. Fight to the end. When we want to follow the master, as you know, so many different challenges come our way. There was a youth workshop yesterday, and we had a fantastic conversation, and they were talking about how do we manage everything. We have family, we have education, we have careers. How do we juggle everything? And that's the challenge. And if we have faith and conviction in Swami, everything will work out. When we really love doing something, when we're passionate about something, we always make time. Finish the game. What does that mean? It means the golden age arises when we forget we're in the game. I believe that the golden age started for us when Swami came into our lives. How blessed we are that we are the chosen few. They say that there are just over 7 billion people on the planet, and look at us, we're just a handful. How blessed we are that Swami has chosen us. So for me, the golden age started when Swami came into our lives. If we want to continue being in the golden age, as Mr. Naganand said, we have to constantly be integrated in the love of Sai. Sairam.
Sairam, everyone. I don't know what else I can add to all the wonderful perspectives given, so I'm going to defer my 9 minutes to Balu. No. So I think, it's always perspective and understanding, and with everything that I'm learning about Bhagwan over the years, you realize there's so many levels of understanding. And so one level that comes to me is God is perfection. Always was perfect, always is perfect, always will be perfect. So from the divine perspective, there's never been anything other than a golden age. Swami often says the universe is perfect. So I think it's Shrishti is perfect, and it's only the problem with our drishti, our vision. So that's one perspective. There is always the golden age from the divine perspective. So then from the next level down, we come down to our own individual perspective. When do we, from our limited vision, see the golden age? And I think it was touched on beautifully that it's when we connect to Bhagwan, when Bhagwan enters our life, when we are able to serve Bhagwan, and when we are ultimately able to be like Bhagwan. So I think that is our destiny, is to reawaken into our source. So it's when, at an individual level, we become Swami, we become like Swami. And the closer we are to Swami, the closer we are in the golden age. And so that would, on a practical level, so coming down even more practical than that philosophical perspective, is how does that translate practically? And I think That's the beauty of this organization Bhagwan is set up. I can confidently say, at least for myself, that there's no better way to advance on this spiritual path to the awareness of the Golden Age than by immersing yourself in Bhagwan's organization. It's just wonderful. He's laid it all out, all the different wings, complete comprehensive coverage of spirituality that's been discussed and transmitted through the ages, encapsulated in such a very simple format that someone like me can understand it. And so at the personal level, immersing ourselves, doing what Bhagwan's teachings tell us to do. When we talked about at the officers' meeting yesterday, love all, serve all is really, that's all we have to remember. We don't have to remember anything more than that. We just have to put it into practice. So if we're at the center, how can every action of mine be more loving and be more serving? So if I want to render a bhajan, am I going to render a bhajan that only satisfies me and brings me closer to Swami, or am I going to render a bhajan that along with me, everyone else gets satisfied and gets connected to Swami? So when I'm in study circle, am I going to want to just give my perspective, or do I want to contribute and have everyone else contribute and allow my brothers and sisters to express what's in their heart and share what their perspective is so we can learn from each other? And of course, when we serve, we want to serve, it's seva, but it's not seva unless we serve the way Swami wants us to serve. Are we grateful to the people we're serving? Because they're giving us the opportunity to grow spiritually, to open our hearts. So I think on a personal level, that's the golden age when we're working on that and arriving at that. And then of course, as a society, how do we reach the golden age? And that's when everyone does the same thing. So when we take care of the individual level, the society level will take care of itself. Sairam.
Sairam. Wonderful to hear the golden words from each one of the panel members. This transports me to Puttaparthi. When we were students, one birthday, Swami started saying why he decided to come onto the earth. Actually, we all know that he descended at Puttaparthi, but here he says why, what was the need that he decided to come down. I quote Swami. Swami says, Yuga dharma paddatul vikrutamulai undaga nayamargamunu tippi nadupu koraku lokambulanni kallolamaiunda niskalmashamu chesi negadu koraku దుర్మార్గ బద్దులై కృంగి దీనతనుండ సాధు సంరక్షణ సల్పు కొరకు కాల సందిగ్ధ విగ్రహ దీప్తులైయుండ భాష్యార్థ గుప్తముల్ తెలుపు కొరకు క్షమాభరము బాపి భూదేవి మనుపు కొరకు త్రేతనొసగిన వరంబు తీర్చు కొరకు అవతరించెను అచ్యుతుండవనియందు సత్యరూపుడై పర్తిలో చూడుడిపుడు. He says this, saying that why he need to come down, saying that yuga dharma paddatul, because every yuga, we have 4 yugas, Sathya Yuga, Krita Yuga, they also called Krita Yuga, then Treta Yuga where Rama came, Dwapara Yuga when Krishna came, then comes Kali Yuga. And also Dharma is represented as a cow on 4 legs in Satya Yuga, then 3 legs on Treta Yuga, 2 legs on Dwapara Yuga when Krishna was there, and 1 leg in this Kali Yuga, because Dharma starts degrading, so God has to come again to do the Dharma Stapana. So he says to set that, he comes. Then he says, Lokambulanni kallolamavunda, we have messed up. So he need to set the mess right. So he came down. Then he says, all the sadhu samrakshana salpakoraku. There is a lot of good ones, but bad increased, not only bad ones increased, bad qualities increased. So he need to correct that, he need to comes down. Then the another line beautifully says, Kala Sandigdha Vigraha Deeptulayunda. He says, over the period of time, we misunderstood our scriptures. We all felt we know Bhagavad Gita. We all know, we said we know Ramayana. We all said we know Mahabharata, but we didn't follow them, we didn't understand them. So he has to come down and tell the correct Bhagavad Gita, correct Mahabharata, correct Ramayana, to tell exactly what exactly it is. So in the simplest terms, that's why he comes down. Then he says, I came down to Shma Baramu Bapi, and I want to reduce the burden on, what is going on this earth. Then he says, I have given lot of boons when I was Rama. Treta nusagina varambu tirchu koraku. I comes down. Then he says, Avatarinchanu Achyutundavani. Achyuta is one of the name of Vishnu. Achyuta Anantayanama Govindayanama we say. Achyuta means the one never as an end. Kind of means Chutam, there is nothing like, he is always permanent. He comes how? As a Sathya Rupadai, as Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, at Puttaparthi. So coming, as beautifully said, is coming on this earth is the golden age start. And again, beautifully, when we went to Parthi first time, we saw him, our golden age started. Because Swami started long ago, but we took our own times. If you look at many families went in 40s, many went in 50s. Now again, he has to allow us, because I always say, we are devotees despite of us. Unless he gives the grace and he allows us, we cannot go in. So when he allowed us to go there, our golden age started. Many came, but they lost. See the sad thing. Because many had great connection to Prashanti Nilayam. They lose it. See, that is the way we need to safeguard our connection to him, connection to Prashanti Nilayam. That is the way we can safeguard our golden age. Because you all know you keep your gold very safely, isn't it? So keep this golden age also very safely. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. From where I'm sitting, I didn't want that to end at all. And my turn, I did not want it to come. And with all of your opening remarks, you've answered all my questions that I've prepared and come also. But you bring up, Auntie, especially when you started, you bring up something very important for all of us to consider. And that same theme all of you have shared as well. The golden age has come when Swami has come. And so that is a question answered today. So let's not ask again in the next retreat, when is the golden age? The golden age is already here. So the golden age is already here, but that then makes us contemporaries of God, contemporaries of a time when the golden age is out there. So that puts us among many fortunate ones that are not contemporaries. But then it's an extra step we must all take to gain the deservedness. While the sun is shining on us, we could complain of heat or we could enjoy the warmth. It's totally up to us. So how do we turn towards Swami, turn towards that light, turn towards that gold brilliance coming on to us and say, yes, this is exactly what I want to soak myself in. How do I become deserved of the grace that is coming my way?
So the way we lead our lives makes us deserving. I remember very sweet moment actually when my husband and I had gone to Prashanti Nilayam. It was his 60th birthday, and they had announced that there would be no darshan the following day because the devotees the previous night had a long program, and Swami had been in Sai Kulwant for a long time. But yet we said we will go for darshan because the Vedas and the bhajans will be there. It was his birthday. Maybe evening Swami's darshan we will have. We went, and very early in the morning itself, around 7 o'clock when they left, we went and sat down. He was sitting there in the veranda. I was sitting, and we were the only two people except for one lady who's a professor's wife who was there, and the gentleman who takes care of the seating there in Prashanti Nilayam, he was there. Just 4 of us, literally, even the boys who sing, nobody was there. And suddenly we saw the gate opening and Swami's car arrived and he went through Sai Kulwant through the other gate and went somewhere for a small round. This was like literally about 7:15 or 7:20 in the morning. So we were both sitting up, there was nobody there, and immediately we saw the college boys coming, running with their harmonium, and they sat down. Nobody expected, they sat where they sit for bhajans. Then Swami's car turned around and came back. Only my husband and that other gentleman were there in the veranda. He stopped the car and he called my husband and said, today is your 60th birthday. What had happened was a couple of weeks before he had said, you come for your 60th birthday, I will bless you. So he said, I came to see you. He said it was 7:15 or so, 7:20 in the morning. He blessed him, gave him vibhuti and all that. And he asked, as he always does, what do you want? It is your birthday today, to my husband. And he said, Swami, only your blessings. Me ashirvadam, Swami, your ashirvadam. So Swami gave a beautiful answer which is very thought-provoking. We should all understand. He said, you know, Bangaru, ashirvadam is there all the time on everyone, on every creature that I have created. But you should ask for anugraham. Anugraham is grace that can only be earned. You have to work for grace. You have to be deserving for that. And in many occasions, Swami has said, you know, the rain falls everywhere, but unless you turn your dish over so that it is open, you cannot collect the water. It just rolls off the back of the dish if it is upside down. So if we want to get His grace so that we can practice and feel His presence in our life, as Brother Akshay also said, we have to change ourselves first and become deserving of His grace. If each one of us does that, then there is no problem at all in the world, I think. So that is how I feel that if we want to continue to feel His presence and continue, first and foremost, as Brother Naganand said, unless we constantly contemplate Him in everything that we do, and then try to convert that into action in our own personal lives, only then we can feel His grace and be deserving of His grace. Sai Ram.
Swami has come to take us towards Him. The first step is that we have come near Him physically, in the sense that we had His darshan and we've been in His presence. Now, how does Swami actually work? There are many of His devotees are non-vegetarian. Many of them enjoy a good drink. Many of them are in the business of liquor. Many of them are doing other quote-unquote not so moral things. But they all come to Swami. And I'll narrate 2 instances to show to you how, if you surrender, Swami takes over. If you don't surrender, He's never going to take over. You have to be clear that I am surrendering my bad qualities to you, Swami. Now it's your problem. You take care of it. So there's a lady, I'm not going to name her, known to me very well for a long time. She was born in a family which was a non-vegetarian family, like Swami himself, you know. Families, they're not vegetarian. And they used to eat non-vegetarian food at home. And she got married into a family which was a purely South Indian vegetarian family. And but then the elders in this family were so accommodative. They told her, see, in our house we don't eat non-vegetarian food. I know that you eat non-vegetarian food. So please don't eat at home. You can eat wherever you want to eat. And she followed it for many years. And then this family became close to Swami. And they used to go for darshan. And every time she sat in front of Swami and she had non-vegetarian food, she was feeling very guilty. She's feeling, I'm doing something wrong. So she would hide herself. And though she's gone for darshan, she would, hide behind somebody to ensure that Swami's eyes don't fall on her. and talk to her because she's feeling embarrassed that she's done something wrong. But then, on those days, when this feeling crept into her mind, Swami would come right in front of her. Ah, Bangaru, how are you? Are you all right? Did you have breakfast? This is how the conversation went on. And then finally, without anybody telling her anything, neither the elders in the family, nor her husband, nor anybody else told her, she said, I'm going to become a vegetarian. And for 30 odd years after that, she has remained a vegetarian. Now, what I'm saying is, see, Swami's grace is like that, It's always flowing. It is your mind that you have to sublimate your mind to Bhagavan. Once you do that, everything is taken care. There's another gentleman who was in the business of liquor. He was manufacturer, trader. Very close to Bhagavan, close in the sense that he would come for Bhagavan's darshan and Swami would talk to him. And he was a Telugu man, so Swami enjoyed that rustic Telugu which he used to speak. And very often he used to have long conversations with him also. And every time after that conversation, if I happen to be in Trai Vrindavan, Swami will look at me, then sit down, he'll say, sitting down. Then he'll tell me in Kannada, Avaru, gottalla. Means, you know him, no? The gottalla literally means you are aware. But the tone in which it is said means something else. It means you know his antics. You know what business he is in. So that gentleman also happened to be my client. I used to do some cases for him also. So I knew everything about him. So I would say, Swami, channagi gottu Swami. Means I know him very well. I know him through and through. And then he would give a smile. Manchi manusham. So that means he's a good man. So Swami knew our failings. Swami knew, and he was a man of great charity. He's done, nobody might know about it, but silently and quietly he has given great charity. I still remember, I'm taking too much time. I know, these memories keep hitting me, I can't not share it with you. One day Swami was in Trai and everybody was telling Swami that car you're using has become very old. You need to replace your car. Swami said, car, naakenduku karu? Inni karalu undi? He said, no. Straight away he said no. Then after a few days again, request was made. Chappitvi kada. Don't raise it again. Again, this monkey mind devotee started raising, Swami, change your car, it's a very old car. So one day in the afternoon, he was in a very pleasant mood. He said, Kara, Naganand, ye car bagundi. So then I said, Swami, Mercedes-Benz is a good car. So that's all he said. Now this other gentleman who was there, he heard this conversation. Immediately he called the Mercedes-Benz showroom in Bangalore and told them, by this afternoon, 2 o'clock, I want your S-Class car to be here. I also called them. And I said, you need at least one car immediately to be brought. So he said, which car? Swami was saying small car. So you get C-Class car. So that afternoon, in 2 hours' time, before Swami's darshan, I saw S-Class has come, then I saw C-Class also is there. So I was wondering, I told them to bring C-Class, who got the S-Class car also? Anyway, Swami came, he had a look, and then he went away inside. Then he said, car, yem voddu, pampichai. I don't need any car, take it away. Then again, this same thing happened. Swami, car, you have to change car. So finally, Swami relented. And you know what he did? He said, the car which he was using was a maroon color BMW. The silver color S-Class car was the one which was bought for Swami by that gentleman. He said, bring that car. So, and take it to that person's house. Don't bring it here. So he drove in this BMW, went to that gentleman's house, and left this car there, got into the new car, and told him, why did you do all these things? I did not need, I was comfortable. Now you keep this car which I am using, it is yours. I don't want it. So in other words, for Swami, the prayer of a devotee is very important. He did not need any car. But he bowed down to the earnest desire and prayer of a devotee. So this only shows that the earnestness with which we pray to Bhagavan, he reciprocates. Though it is not, something which he requires or he desires. It's not, for Swami, car was, meaningless exercise. It was nothing. It didn't exist. It was just some conveyance, that's it. But the thing is, how is your mental makeup? And how is it that you pray to Bhagavan? I think that's what is important. And we need to cultivate that. To say that I am praying to you for grace, and as rightly put by Sister Geeta, there is a difference between just asking for Ashirvadam and asking for his grace. So we must always be requesting Swami, praying to Swami to say, please grace me with mukti, please get me with bhakti and sadgati. These are three things which we can pray to Swami. Thank you.
So that afternoon, if I may continue, I know the follow-up of the story. We were there in Trai Vrindavan when many cars were brought, and we were wondering which is this rich man showing off to Swami with many cars. But that afternoon, this devotee that you were mentioning did come in Swami's car to Mandir. And many did not know of this exercise that happened in the morning of Swami swapping the car with this gentleman. So devotees that didn't know that Swami's car was given to this devotee now started running behind his car. Because they only knew the car. He didn't even take off the Sarvadharma emblem that was in the front. And I didn't know how many more troubles he had with that, driving that car. Thank you, sir, for sharing. Brother Shitu, on the subject, deservedness, and how do we really get ready?
Okay. Sairam, everyone. If you're like me, that often get very confused by the spiritual world on what to do, how to do it, it's such a minefield. It takes me back to an experience with Swami. I was sitting by his feet, and Swami was very silent. There wasn't much talking going on. And then suddenly he looks at me and he says, why do you worry so much? Worry about parents, worry about career, worry about the future, worry about the past, worrying about will Swami speak to me, worrying about what will happen next. You worry so much. And he completely threw me, because it once again reaffirmed that he knows our innermost thoughts and our innermost everything. So then I blurted out, Swami, I don't know what else to do. And then Swami said, all you need to do is think of me. And this follows on from what Mr. Naganand was saying, this whole theory of and concept of constantly being integrated with him. And I'll give you another analogy. My family back at home were asking some questions and sending me some photos. So when I'm at Dr. Vinny's house, the download comes. And then when Brother Moli brings me to the hall, there is no information because there's no Wi-Fi. We get to the hall and then the download happens. And it's all about connection. You have to think about, in this world where we can't do anything without our phones. We have to be connected. And I think when you think of him, you become connected. As soon as you become connected, the download begins to happen. He starts giving you answers. But as soon as you don't think of him, the connection is broken. And then you have to put the password in. What is the password? Just thinking about him. Sairam.
Sairam. As Sister Geeta beautifully said, the grace of Bhagwan is there. It's always there, and Bhagwan tells us all we have to do is turn our bucket right side up, and we can fill up with our grace. And I think Bhagwan also, he's really waiting to give more and more grace. He's just waiting for us to give him an excuse to shower even more grace upon us. And I think, and this is again my limited understanding and perspective, but I think the way I understand it is he's made this beautiful universe, and he's made a beautiful, perfect law of the universe, that what we desire and what we reap and the consequences come back to us. And so it's a perfect world in that sense. And so he doesn't want to get in the way of the universe that he's designed, because he's designed a fair universe. So in that sense, everything is fair. But he has so much compassion, and if we are struggling and we are craving and we are wanting to connect and be happy, he wants to give every excuse possible so he can work within that universe that he himself has created to give us opportunities. And so one of the opportunities that everyone on this stage has had, and I'm sitting here wondering, wow, I can't believe I'm on this stage, because we have Sai students that have spent so much time with Bhagwan and been graced with his presence. We have these senior devotees, all of these people on the stage with not only one generation, but multiple generations of connections with Bhagwan. And Shitu has had so much attention with Bhagwan. And I have had very limited physical connection with Bhagwan. Count on a handful of times, very limited. And so when you are able to serve Bhagwan in the physical form, he gives you that much more grace, right? The ability to serve Bhagwan in the physical form gives you, it's like a bonus. You get something, you get buy one, get one free. It's a bonus grace that you get. But what about those of us that didn't have the chance to serve the physical Bhagwan? Well, that's part of the beauty of this organization. He set up this organization, so when we come together and we serve in this organization, for Bhagwan, that's just like serving him. So when we serve this organization, it's a wonderful opportunity for those of us that didn't have that physical connection to earn that grace. And I can tell you from experience, for whatever reason, he's thrust me into this organization for decades, and I can tell you every desire of mine has been fulfilled by Bhagwan. So he says, you take care of my work, I take care of your work. So it's available. And again, I've had very limited exposure to any person. I've never had personal guidance from Bhagwan in the physical form. But the teachings that he's given us, everyone has. There's no secret that Bhagwan gives anybody in a private interview that he hasn't said in a public format. Why would the avatar hold back spiritual secrets? He's given every possible spiritual secret to all of us. And it's available in the Vahinis. It's available in the discourses. And so every one of us has access to 1 million interviews when you just sit down and read those discourses. So we have access to his teachings more than any personal interview can ever give us. And we have access to serving that physical form through the organization. And for that, we're so very, very blessed. Sairam.
Sairam is hearing Sri Naganand, sir, takes me back to portico. We used to sit on the lower portico. There is an upper portico. It's a little higher. So the down, we are learning ones. On the higher, the highly learned as well as earned ones. Actually, they are all on the VIP portico. So we all used to sit and do our homework, and when Swami goes inside. And one day, just Swami finished the darshan and went inside. Suddenly, there was a chair put on upper portico. We saw a man walking. We knew him because, let me not name him. So we read newspapers, isn't it? But Swami says gas papers, actually. So reading newspapers, we know what kind of a person he is. We have our own, judgments, all that. So his chair was kept, and he came and sat there. As soon as he sat, and after some time, Swami opened the door. He, like a mother, actually, he almost like looking for the child. Divine Mother comes, and he is ready to get up, and Swami immediately waved, beautiful ring, which Brother Shitu asked, So ring, he put it to his finger. Manchidi. This man took Pad Namaskar, and Swami just turned. That's it. Blessed him, went towards, ladies' side to give, second round of darshan. This man looks at the ring. It's a gold ring, again, golden. Is it gold ring? So he looks at it. He did like this, and he did this to Swami. Swami is that side, because we are all watching. We used to watch what he got and how he got. Why he got, we don't know. Because so then after touching, you see, we are right there. He did like this. Can you imagine? Like he had tears. Till then, I thought politicians make others to cry, but this politician was crying in the portico. So this is the problem with us, because we don't know what Swami is seeing in them, how good they are, and what, that relation, because he is also an individual, he is also a soul which is coming to Sai. See, that is, like, imagine politician crying. We think, that itself is a big revelation to me. From that time, I started reading lesser newspaper, at least, kind of, because you can generate your own thinking by somebody's pumping this. So what Swami says is, once students, he says, మీ ప్రవర్తనలో పరివర్తన వచ్చినప్పుడే నా వాళ్ళు అవుతారు. He says, when you change in your behavior, little change, not even complete, keep changing. So once you come to me, as Sri Ranganathan sir said about that leaving, this kind of a non-vegetarianity. So that is the one makes us close to him. There is another occasion, we were all in the interview. Suddenly Swami said, always, any question is allowed. Suddenly one boy says, Swami, bad thoughts vastunnai. We were all worried actually, because we thought this guy will be kicked out. Actually, because we also have bad thoughts, but we didn't tell Swami. Actually, but that he had at least guts to say, Swami, I have bad thoughts. We thought, what will happen now? Because Swami is going to ask who all getting bad thoughts. So we have to be, tell Swami. Then Swami so lovingly, Yenduku vastunnai? Swami asked actually. It's such a beautiful. Then this boy was looking at Swami. Swami starts explaining. When the bad thought comes, you observe the thought, why it is coming. When you observe the thought, your thought slows down, because thought process, it's like a traffic, you are all facing on the, everywhere. So when thoughts, thought process become traffic jam, you don't put thought into action. Swami says, if you get a bad thought, don't put into action, because once you put a bad thought into bad action, you are bound to get bad consequence. But Swami says, if you get a good thought, immediately put into action, because you can precipitate a good thought as a good karma, so that you can receive the punyam. See how much he explains to make us, even if you get a bad thought, still you can change, isn't it? And always, Swami always gives, past is past, live in present, don't live in future. See, he's like, he gives enough time. Like, as soon as you go, imagine if Swami comes to darshan and says, keeps telling who has done what, Sai Kulwanthal would be empty, kind of, because he's not like that. He gives the time. He says, it's okay, move on now, I'm there with you. Like, this is the way we need to work with our children too. He's showing, basically, okay, what next? I'll help you. He came to help us. That is what is, beautiful thing about Swami. And again, transforming, coming back to the liquor baron thing. So one liquor, that devotee used to come. So Swami gave interview. We used to have this problem in the hostel. We were more worried about who got interview, rather than why all that. So this boy was telling other boy, hostel is a great learning place. And, Girish can tell you. This boy was keep on telling, I didn't like Swami giving interview to him. As if he decides who gets interviewed by Swami. So then we were telling, what do you mean? Like, Then suddenly one of the realized person in the hostel, one of my classmates, he says, see, look, that man saw Baba, you are still seeing the bottle, he said actually. So this boy is correcting that boy, see, you are still thinking about what business he is doing. Whereas that man came all the way to Puttaparthi to change himself. but you are changing other, you're only thinking about it. Then after that, that guy didn't have any more, See, we become judgmental. We think, who we should get, we are very good, others are not good. That's a problem. And Swami says, there are three things which make our life miserable. He told us. Antuleni ashalu, saying that limitless desires. Artham leni avedanalu, meaningless agitations, saying that what will happen to me when I'm getting old. You're very young, why you to think about your old? Still you're not yet there, isn't it? So, artham leni avedanalu, what will happen to me? Who will take care of me? Like, we don't know how long we live also, isn't it? Like, it's unnecessary thinking. Artham leni avedanalu. Then finally, beautiful one he says is, prapta praptamulakai prakuladuta. What he meant is, you desire what you don't deserve. Can you imagine? That's a beautiful thing. Only he knows how much we deserve. Let us be his deserved servants of Sathya Sai, serving in this organization. Jai Sir.
Thank you so much for that, such fine discourse on such a complicated subject, I thought until now, but not anymore. An interesting aspect was brought in all of your presentation today, which is that there are two perspectives to watching this golden age come together. One is from the Swami's side, where as soon as he decided to come down, the golden age the golden carpets were spread for him, and he allowed us to walk along with him. The perspective of each one of us, where we are contemporaries of Bhagwan, we are allowed to sit in the ashram, in the programs, in Swami's company, in the company of those of us that believe in Swami and that want to follow Swami. The question I have for all of you is there a standard? Is there a golden standard? Because I know I am doing bhajans, I know I'm also doing some things that Swami like, but I cannot proudly tell probably my lifestyle is the best that Swami would put a stamp on. Am I, in such a case, allowed, eligible to be in the golden age? Or is there a golden standard that Swami has set for all of us to follow? Or is it custom built for every one of us?
It's funny that you should ask that. Actually, I was just thinking that this is something that Swami said some years ago when my kids were young, and I hope Girish asks something where I can share this thought with everybody because it's useful to everyone. This was some time ago. My sons are both grown up, married, and have children now, but they were still young. They were 9 or 10, and it was that, at the time when the first computers, everybody started to buy here in the US, and we had bought them a computer which they needed for their school. And the first time we had gone to Puttaparthi, Swami asked them, so what did you get for your birthday? And both very proudly said, we got a computer, Swami. Swami said, oh. And that was that. He said, what do you do? They said something about schoolwork and all that. The next time that we had gone, Naganand, Brother Naganand had not yet convinced Swami for the internet in Prashanti Nilayam at that time, I think. So he said, now what did you have? So the children were just 10 years old. And they said, Swami, we got internet now. So at home, that is to do. So Swami said, oh, what is internet? So immediately these youngsters, my twin sons, they thought, Swami is here in Prashanti Nilayam. He doesn't have a computer. He doesn't know what is internet. So they said to Swami that through the internet, you can read whatever is happening all over the world. So Swami said, oh, auna, how do you do that? So they tried to explain to him, how the internet works. And, my one son said, Swami, when you type in www.com, whatever it is, you will get that particular thing you can read. Oh, www, na yemadi? Swami said, what is that www? So they said, Swami, it means worldwide website, World Wide Web. Oh, web, like a spider's web, Swami. Web. Yes, Swami, World Wide Web. Anywhere in the world you can get the information. Oh, so the spider is in the middle and the web has spread all over the world, and whatever your desire, those are all the strands of that web. whatever you desire, ఈ strands kada, wires, just like the spider has a web, it goes out, the desire, and all over the world, you see that, you desire that, you get the information, and then you want it. Ade kada, World Wide Web. So these guys now realize that they had made a big mistake. They got into deep trouble by saying they got this. So they both sat there not knowing one. Then, of course, luckily, my husband said, Swami, you must also tell them how to convert this. Because now we were both also in a quandary. What is this World Wide Web we have got for these two youngsters, And then Swami says, Chala easy, Bangaru. You can convert it. Have you seen how the spiders, they build the webs in dark places? But when a spider builds a web in the garden and the sunlight falls, the strands shine. So how can you convert? What is that sunlight ante? You convert every action into work, worship. Work should become worship. Whatever you do, whatever information you are trying to find out, it should become like a worship for the good. When that happens, the sunlight is like wisdom. WWW, convert cheyandi, work, worship, and get wisdom. Then the strands will become sunlight. You get wisdom. When you do that, you can convert every action into a bright strand, which also, and this web, he said, is all over the universe. You can connect to everybody. Our strands anta love aipotundi. You can convert the bright, shiny strands of the web into love. So that was the answer. Sorry.
Now we all tend to think that only good people will come to Swami. If I have to go to Swami, I must become good. I must be of best behavior. I must look after my parents, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, all those things, yesterday, day before we have heard of all those things. We should be like that. We should be ideal persons. We should never get angry. We should not have any desires. If they give me one Mysore pak, I should tell him, half is enough, I don't want a second one. So if Shitu doesn't desire the second Mysore pak, he's a good man, then he is eligible to come to Swami. If those are the standards you set for yourself, then what happens? Now one day I went to Puttaparthi. I was there for 5-6 days on that visit. I think it was some festival time. So I sat in the veranda. I found one Chinese looking character sitting there in the veranda. So I didn't know who he was, just watched him. Every day when Swami came, he would be sitting like this with one envelope in his hand. Swami once looked at him, second day didn't see him. It went on like this for 5 days. So I was very curious. Said, who's this guy? I've never seen him before. He's sitting here like this every day. Swami is, coming, not seeing, not talking to him. How long he will be there? Anyway, these thoughts came one day. Next day, Swami came. As soon as he came, he called me into the interview room. And then he said, call him also. So then I quickly ran out. He also came. And he was sitting. Then Swami started casual discussion, talking, how are you, how was Malaysia, this, that, Then he looked, he's from Malaysia. I said, oh, no, Swami, I didn't know. I've seen him for last few days. Then he started talking to me in Telugu. No, I wanted him to wait for some time, because time was not ripe. So then he looked at him, and then he gave that envelope. Swami looked at it. He didn't open it. He gave it to me. He said, open it. So opened it, $1.5 million was there in that check. So then I gave it to Swami. Oh, idichara. Then he just kept it. Then he looked at him. How are you? Very well, Swami. How is wife? Swami, wife is very good. Which wife? So he didn't know what to say. So I said, Bangaru, should not have more than one wife. And that's all he told him. He said, be a good man. You have to be good in the world. That means you have to love your wife. That's all the interview, nothing more. Then he went away. Later on, I had to make some inquiry as to who he is. He's some multi-million-dollar, some person who trades in oil and all that. And he has been coming to Swami. I waited for one whole week for this purpose. Now, you see, he also knew that his personal life was not appropriate. But then he had a desire to come to Bhagavan. Like the other example I gave you, that lady, she was aware that what she was doing was wrong, but then she came and when she did Samarpanam to Swami, it changed. Same thing with this person also. No, there are, Swami says, I've come for uddhara of everybody, It's not only for good people. Good people are anyway going to take care of themselves. But those who are sitting on the fence, those who need correction, those who need to be put on the right path, it is for them that I have come. That's why I know many times, I heard criticism. Oh, Swami, all these big politicians come. They are the people who get interview with Swami. They are the people who come and get everything from Swami. Why Swami is not giving interview to me, to other people like that? I have one more episode. Sorry, my episodes don't seem to end, yeah. I was in the Rotary Club. We have an eye hospital in Bangalore, so it's free cataract surgery. It's been running for many, many years. Geeta's late father, Dr. Padmanabhan, was a district governor many, many years ago. So I was president of that club, and we are running that eye hospital. So one day I made bold. I was, much bolder when I was younger. So I told Swami, all our Rotary friends want to come for darshan. So then Swami asked, "Hey, me Rotary ante party na?" So I said, no, Swami, we have party also, but we do some seva. I said, what seva you do? I said, we're doing this seva of cataract eye surgeries. Okay, you bring them, he said. So then I fixed up a date and all. I sent a circular to all the club members, everybody. So everybody was maha thrilled. Wow, we're getting Swami's darshan. We're going to Puttaparthi. It was a great event in the club. So about 40 or 45 of us all decided to come on a particular day. And Swami had given instructions. All of them were seated in the veranda, in the lower half of the veranda. So as soon as all these people came, I sort of ushered them in and made them sit there, and I came to my usual place. Then one of the senior devotees was there. Emaya, no kuda tourist operator ainara. Said, you also become a tourist operator getting groups here. So I was very embarrassed. I said, no sir, I prayed to Bhagavan, he has permitted, that's why they have come, otherwise they wouldn't have come. No, I said, no, I was just joking, don't worry. Then Swami came. It was sufficient time before this bhajan started, and he got delayed in darshan. By the time he came, it was 5 minutes to 9. So when he came, he looked at me, and then to the hearing of all of them, he said, see, 9 o'clock bhajan will start. If I talk to all of you now, you won't hear what I'm saying, I won't hear what you're saying. So, will you all please stay for afternoon, I will talk to you. So everybody was maha thrilled. Swami is telling you to stay for afternoon, so everybody was, that they were in a state of ecstasy from morning 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock afternoon. I see the anticipation. So anyway, afternoon we came back, Swami promptly came for darshan, called all of us in that interview room. We were 40 people sitting literally squeezed against each other. And Swami started talking about seva, what you do, how many patients you treat, all those things. Then he started speaking to one gentleman, asked him a lot of questions and all. Then he spoke to one more gentleman, asked him a lot of questions, in the whole group of 45 people. And then he materialized a ring and called one of them, the first person, called him to come and put the ring on him. And he asked him, what is your daughter doing, where is she? And he was a computer guy. Then the other person, he went on talking, and then he called him, and then he said, take Pad Namaskar. Then he gave him another ring. So everybody was thrilled, They thought, Swami is going to give ring to everybody. So they're all ready with their fingers. Then Swami, of course, didn't give ring to everybody. Then he asked for saris. And he personally gave saris to all the women that were there. Then this interview ended, everything over. Everybody was in a state of ecstasy. And even today in our Rotary world, everybody says, Naganand is able to get us darshan with Bhagwan. That I didn't get, it was his will. Now these two gentlemen who were called, who were given special grace, one of them, his daughter got married in Singapore in about 5-6 months after that. She had a terrible, terrible, terrible marriage. She underwent a lot of turmoil. There was civil case, criminal case in India and Singapore, everywhere. Such a lovely girl, from young age I had seen her. And that trouble never seemed to end for them. But finally it ended many years later. And throughout that period, Swami's ring is the one which protected that family. Otherwise they were disintegrated completely. The other gentleman who got a ring, 5 years later or 4 years later, he was diagnosed with blood cancer. And the doctor said, looks like, it's terminal. So he went to Vellore, and then there was a treatment facility available there, this bone marrow transplant. They said, you can take a chance, but we are not too sure. It took him nearly 1 year after the treatment was done to become normal. And today, it is now 20 years, he is living a normal, happy, healthy life. Now you see this Trikala Jnana, what I was talking about yesterday, Swami knows everything. Of all that entire group, why did he pick out only these 2 people for special grace? It simply means that when you supplicate yourself, right? And I must tell you, among these 2 people, the first person whose daughter had a problem, that guy's name is Ramakrishnan. He was known to be, quite a very, a healthy boozer. In all our Rotary functions and all that, he would be number 1, minimum 5 drinks. That was his capacity. Whereas this other person is a sadhu, pure vegetarian, Tamilian, Brahmin, no non-vegetarian food, no drink, drinking only coconut water, and very healthy life, and very pious man also, Nitya Puja, everything. So for Swami, it made no difference that this guy was, enjoying the pleasures of life, whereas that person was exactly the opposite of him. But he picked them out and he gave them special grace. And both of them now, 25 years down the line, are living happily. So what does that mean? So if I'm now remembering what he's saying is that when we think that Swami is giving somebody something special, then you must realize that that person is in trouble. So Swami is trying to reduce his trouble, not to say that he's going to get something more, something less. So I think if you remember that, then things will fall in place, that it is Swami's will to bless you with something, and that will only happen if you supplicate yourself. If you don't do it, then you won't get anything.
So yesterday I spoke about what Swami said about not striving for physical closeness, but spiritual closeness. When you strive for spiritual closeness, Swami himself will come to you. And we've been talking about, what's the standard, the golden benchmark. The golden benchmark that we have to strive for is really fine-tuning and being in that state where we have spiritual closeness with Swami. And I'll give you an example. So when I finished my education, I still didn't know what I wanted to be. For me, I just wanted to go to Puttaparthi, serve Swami, serve in the center, and try and be an ideal Sai young adult. So then I always used to say to Swami in my prayers, you do whatever you want, I will accept. And surrender is key if you want to have spiritual closeness. So I surrendered to Swami. When you surrender to Swami, Swami himself will not only come to you, but he will fulfill your desires, like we've been talking. And let me give you an example. So we had come to Puttaparthi. I didn't have a job. Swami had sent the person that I was to marry, my soulmate, and we wanted to get married the following year. So we wanted to come and get Swami's blessings. Now imagine, I didn't have a job at that point. I mean, can you imagine going to my parents and saying, I want to get married? Imagine going to my in-laws and saying, I want to marry your daughter. So what do? Oh, actually, I don't have a job. But when you have spiritual closeness with God, when you surrender, when you leave everything to Him, He makes the impossible possible. So what happened was that at the time there used to be, I think in Whitefield, a taxi company called Babu Taxis. So one of the owners of Babu Taxis went up to my wife-to-be and said, there is an English Sai devotee lady who came last month. She was very ill. She had some Ayurvedic treatment. The medicine has run out. Will you take it to London, where she lives? So my wife is very cautious. And she was like, first she said no, and then she said, let me speak to Shittu. In the meantime, the other owner of Babu Taxis had jumped on me after darshan in Whitefield and narrated the whole story. And you know my problem in life, I find it difficult to say no. So I said yes. But I said, I will definitely take it, but you have to let me look inside the box, because at the time, British customs, they were very strict. Even when you were carrying Vibhuti, they would open it up and ask you all sorts of questions. So I took this package, we got to London, I rang up this English lady, we fixed a date, and she came to pick up this medicine. So she came to our house, and then she recognized me. She said, "Oh, you're such and such, I would like my husband to meet you." He was a non-Baba devotee. So she comes in walks this very English, aristocratic man in a tweed suit, blonde hair, and he spoke like something out of Downton Abbey or Bridgerton. So he comes in, they sit down, we do a little bit of chit-chat about Swami. The wife was very devoted, give her the Ayurvedic medicine. And then the husband, feeling a bit bored, he says to me, "So, what do you do?" Now, I can't say I don't have a job and I don't know what to do. So I said to him, I made something up and I said, "I'm thinking about going into banking." And he went, And he said, he put his hand forward and said, "I'm Charles Fowler. I'm the chairman of John Gavett, which was the biggest asset management company in London at the time." So, cut a long story short, I was brought in. Swami, got me the job through the back door or through the side door. And that first week I was there, I noticed that, in that period, to get into banking, you had to either have gone to Oxford or Cambridge. You either had to have gone to a private school, which I didn't, and I didn't go to Oxford or Cambridge, and you had to be white, and I was Indian. And my observations during my time there, for many years I was the only Asian in investment banking. And that's the beauty of Swami. When you surrender to him, when you leave it to him, when you say to Swami, "Swami, you do as you wish with me, I will take whatever you give as prasadam," he dreams bigger dreams that we can possibly imagine for ourselves. Sairam.
So I guess the question is deservedness, part of it, deservedness. And so I think everyone is equally deserving. And Swami doesn't love anyone more or less than anyone else. Everyone is deserving, and everyone is loved to the hilt by Bhagwan. So then the question comes, well, how come this person gets this and how come this person gets that? And I think, the stories that were just illustrated bring that out. Is Swami loves everyone equally, but it's all about qualities. There's qualities that Swami appreciates, and there's qualities that Swami doesn't appreciate. Anything that brings us united and brings us together, Swami wants to reinforce. And if we go away from that, we're guided back towards it. So it's developing those qualities that earns the grace, and then we get to be more fulfilled. That's one way to look at it. And the other way, as a physician, I always like to learn and bring things back to the body. And so Swami, I think, had a wonderful story about several people would come to a doctor with a stomach pain, right? So with one person, the doctor might just kind of ignore and say, "Don't worry about it, go home," and not give him anything. For another person, he might give him a tablet and say, "Take this tablet." And for another person, he may say, "We need to call an ambulance and bring you immediately for an operation." So from our perspective, we're suffering, we have abdominal pain, but from the physician's perspective, he's giving the treatment that's needed at the time that is needed. So I think Bhagwan loves us equally. Just because we don't get an interview doesn't mean he doesn't love us as much. He gives us what we need at the time that we need it. In fact, the universe is that way. Whether we are aware of Bhagwan or not, we have to have that mindset that everything that happens to us is exactly what we need to grow spiritually. If we can just have that awareness, everything that happens to us is there for our spiritual growth. And so Bhagwan will give us a ring because this is going to help our spiritual growth. Bhagwan takes something dear away from us, it's because of our spiritual growth. Jai Saranam.
Sairam, yeah, about the golden standard, actually, how to set that standard. Are there any standards? So, one day we were all sitting in the mandir. Swami comes for the darshan, and he goes to one group. Group of people came. They came from Nellore district of Andhra. Later on, we found out where they are from, actually, because Swami spoke to them. Because we want to know why Swami spoke to them. So, Swami came to them and he asked, "Entamandi? How many?" That leader immediately said, "Swami, 20. Swami said, "Plenty." Okay, immediately. Swami is very good in that. So then Swami said, "Grupa ganga." Can you imagine? In front of everybody. So this man was perplexed and he didn't know what to say also. Then immediately Swami says, "Discipline unte grupu lekunte gang." If you have discipline, it's group, otherwise it's gang. Then immediately says, "Swami, group, Swami." So then they got interview. So see, he's setting a standard there, discipline. So that's one. Then again, Swami had this beautiful way of, addressing, correcting students. He had many ways to call us. One is Dunapota. Dunapota means Heba fellow. That means, I don't know how many of you from villages. I think I should take you all to village one day. So these Dunapotus, which are Heba fellows, they can stand in the rain. It doesn't matter. They won't change. Even if you say, "Hey, go and don't stay here," it will come back and eat there only. See, Dunapotu, you have to observe the Dunapotu to know what is Dunapotu, isn't it? So, Swami say, Dunapota means you are done. A lot of correction. You are not changing. You are there wherever you are. Not thick-skinned. Actually, Dunapotu is a thick-skinned one. Then he used to say sometimes, "Hey, pakoda or bonda," if you are little, off shape or something like that. That's the way he is very lovingly used to call us. Then the ultimate one is the Bangaru. Bangaru means, it's a golden one. So the golden one is the standard. So basically, he wants the best is Bangaru. So if all of us become Bangaru, then golden age comes, isn't it? Because we all have to become Bangaru to Swami to get the golden age. And also there is a ISI mark, isn't it? ISI, that's a standard. It's called in Sai infinitely. If you are in Sai infinitely, you get that standard. So basically, get connected to him, get connected to Prashanti Nilayam, be in Global Council, bring your friends to Global Council. Let's make this Global Council into Golden Council. Jai Sairam.
Thank you so much, every one of you, for your time and for such reflective thoughts as we are wrapping up this regional retreat. I'm reminded of one prayer that was put in front of Swami once. As to Swami, there are many forms of prayer. And as we read history, as we read great devotees from Bhagavatam and Mahabharatam and everywhere else in Upanishads, there are so many stories where devotees have found fulfillment, found Sayujya, found God in many, many forms. So it makes it even more confusing, even more complex for someone like us, rather me, is to what is the best form of prayer, Swami? How should we really pray to you? And the answer Swami gave is much of what is said here today, to stay connected to Swami, to make sure your bowl is turned the right side, and the grace will automatically flow. Because if we surrender to him and say, "Let your will prevail, Swami," and that is the best prayer. Because Swami has said that if you ask me what you want, I will give you exactly that. But if you leave it to me, I will give you what you need and even better than that. With those thoughts, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with all of us. Sir, please.
A thought which he just now said, you must ask Swami and leave it to him. I remember one episode which gives you an idea about how Swami gives you different type of tests. One day Swami asked me, "What time did you come?" My wife was also there. So I gave some time. He looked at her and said, "What time did you leave home?" She gave time. so fast you came. So my wife says, Swami is driving very fast. So then he looked at me and kept quiet. That was in Purnachandra Hall. Then some other topic came, we were talking. Afterwards he looked at me and said, which car do you have? I said, Swami, I've just got a Skoda Superb. Skoda Octavia it was. And then he said, hey, Anta Cheeskondra. Means get keys of all the cars. You know, there were about 10 cars in the thing. So he comes to me and says, Chudu, which one you want? You take one car and go. So then I didn't know what to do. So of course I just kept my head down. Swami, no, Swami, car is there. I don't want. Swami is using car. I can't use that car. No, you take it. It's okay. You keep it. Take one more car. It's okay. Next time you come in that car. It went on like this. Like he was going on, testing me to say, of course, I love cars. So I have to confess that. But my means did not allow me to buy a Mercedes car. So every time we talked of a Mercedes, my wife would always say, you are simply talking here. You'll never buy a Mercedes in your whole life. This used to be her constant refrain. She's not so fond of cars, but she knew that I loved them. So she would always say this. Swami says, see, that car, it is a big car, it's Mercedes. You take it. So I kept on, not saying anything. Finally, the topic ended and everything concluded. And as we came out, my wife is telling me, see, you're going on talking about cars. You even troubled Swami to tell you all these things about cars. You better stop thinking about a car. This episode over, in the next 6 months, I bought the first Mercedes car. And it was a very strange way in which I bought it. I came home and I didn't tell my wife. I said, you know what? After Swami told me to take some car, I was able to get a Mercedes. I said, you are just joking. Come on now. You must be trying to pulling my leg. I said, no, really. He said, where's the car? So I brought it out and said, you come and see it. You won't believe it, brothers and sisters. After that, somehow, I've been able to get every single car which was there in Swami's stables without any difficulty. Any time we thought of buying a car, we could buy a car. And any car we wanted. So thing is, see, Swami is testing you about your desire. You have a great desire for something. It's being given to you. What should you do then? I could have easily said, Swami, I'll take this car. And he would have happily given. It's not that Swami was joking with me. He just honestly meant it. Say, you take this car and you go, you use it. But then when you say, no, I cannot accept it. I have to say no to something. These are the tests which Swami often gives us, Sometimes he'll tell you, you do this. And then if you say, yes, I'll do, then he knows what is your mental frame and how you are doing things. So, but at the same time, if you demonstrate to him, no, I'm happy, Swami, with what I have and I need your blessing and grace, nothing more than that, then things will take a different turn. So after that day, he never talked about cars with me, except that one day he said, which car have you brought? So I told him, Skoda Octavia. Okay, I'll come for a ride with you. Then he said, get your car. So after darshan, I drove it into Kulwant Hall. Swami sat in it. And then he said, okay, let's go for a ride. So we went all around, went to the Hillview Stadium near hospital. And then we returned back. And he said, car is very good. It's safe car, you drive well. So the thing is, he wants to show his grace on you. Right? But at the same time, how we should conduct ourselves towards him. When he is coming forward in this manner, we should be very clear. The minute Swami says, here it is, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you a house, Balaram says, Swami, give me a double-storied house. Then your level is marked by Bhagavan. So that is not something just to be said, but it's actually to be felt from deep within you to say, no, this is how I must conduct myself towards Bhagavan. And I think that's the message that I learned from that. Thank you.
Let us all take this opportunity to express our gratitude for all of them being here today for the last few days.